start streaming. So I decided to see if there's more people who watch when it's not listed as an event compared to if I put the event down, I guess, and then like say that it's an online event. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me double check that we are actually streaming because that's fun. Oh, see, it didn't go yet. Hold on. Wait. Wait. Okay. Now we're doing it. Okay, we're live now. Woohoo, yay. Okay. Yay. All right. So I have a very millennial thing to talk about. So I put stickers in my journals because that's who I am, and I figure I had a slight sticker anxiety when I was younger because you have to find the right place for the stickers. Yeah. I realized that it was very millennial of me to buy stickers that have memes on them and put them in my journal. So that's I think the most millennial thing that I can say is what happened this week.
I'm struggling financially, so I'm pretty sure that's the most millennial thing I can say.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. And I'm
that's
sure.
All I'll say, just for the sake of like some kind of like, I have pride, but I'll just state that like, fuck, I hate modern living.
Yep. And inflation.
That's millennial.
That's millennial. Yeah. Yay. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I did say something that I would have said as a 10-year-old. And I also said it yesterday. I said I grabbed an extra sticker from a Cub Scout event, because I collect stickers and because I'm going to send one to my pen pal.
Nice.
I have one in California. Yeah. We send each other stuff back and forth so often that one time she didn't have stamps, and when she finally got stamps, I got like let's see, 7 postcards and like 5 letters in the mail.
Wow.
So I open up the mailbox and like all of this stuff from her just falls out, and I'm like, and this is why we went right back and forth.
I mean, that sounds pretty fun to me.
It is very fun. Yeah, we have so much fun. It's but yeah, just one of my friends from high school. Yeah. All right. So today's topic is McDonald's. There is, I feel like, so much with this. What are your early memories of, I guess, fast food at McDonald's?
This may like paint me for like being like the former fat kid I was, but like every week, I had my grandfather take me to McDonald's once a week as a little treat. It was in this local mall. It was the kind of McDonald's you remember in like a small little hole in the ground. Right, like a hole in the wall restaurant. Like it was basically in the size of what would be now like a department store, department store. But it was like tiny, like imagine like a Payless like shoe size like restaurant, but you had like the hard plastic. Yep. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's still there, but like you had the hard plastic booths, the peel on wooden table. Like tables that are just cut out from like, I don't know, like crap wood or something.
Yeah.
Like the crappy tile that barely ever got cleaned.
And it was like a brown and like taupe motif back then, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. It was absolutely like it was browns and yellows and maybe like a hint of red, but like mostly like
Right.
I have a feeling like the attention was supposed to be drawn towards the front and the menu, and then everything else was just like let's not make them any more comfortable than they need to be in this like one space. But
Right.
this was also like the most ghetto '90s McDonald's you could think of, so it was not meant to be like it was not meant to be hospitable for the most part. It was meant to
Right.
like you get your food, you eat, and then get out. Well, we also
That's
just
what I
get your
was
food,
just
get
thinking
out.
too. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. That there must have been some psychology of like, look, it looks like burgers. Now get the fuck out. Like, okay, thanks, I guess.
I also have a feeling like it was done in the sense of not having like a proper atmosphere involved. Because like back then, it was just about like here's our image. Now here's your food. Now fuck off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely the whole thing. I can't remember how often we had fast food. I think it was like often. It was probably a lot. I know that I've had lots of food stuff. Just I'm a very sensitive taster. I am one of the people who have whatever the super taster gene or whatever thing is.
Oh yeah, my wife has that.
It's you taste things bitter like all the time, and you just taste things a little bit differently. And I'm sensitive to like raw onions, so you can imagine. There's so much.
Oh god, like half the food was wrong, and so yeah.
Right, exactly. So, and like back then, I was more sensitive than I am now. Like now, I could be like, okay, I don't particularly like the taste of this, but like it's food, fine, whatever. But like back then, my taste buds were super, super sensitive because that's kids' taste buds are super sensitive. Um, and I think my family still hates that and resents me for it. Because my mom told a story in October of last year that like I asked for a plain burger and I got and it came with the everything on it, and I screamed and I was like, yeah, I can imagine that at a certain point it's very frustrating to be like, I want a plain burger, nothing on it, like nothing, no sauces, nothing, and to like have it on there and then they absorb into the bun. It sucks. It sucks. It's like, okay, I really want this and I can't eat it right now, like
No, yeah, and those buns used to absorb everything like there was no tomorrow. So like every bit of, which is amazing because I've watched a number of like experiments where those buns can survive like blowtorches and so much environmental hazards, but and yet they can absorb like the flavor of like ketchup and mustard and onion like residue like it's nothing.
Yeah. So it's so you couldn't do anything to like change it because I'd still taste everything that I didn't like. And then the other thing that I became weirdly obsessed with was like if I felt that it was actually cooked. So like I would check the burger patty, and like I guess from the freezing process there was always like a circle in the middle that looked like it wasn't cooked. And so there were times where that was very unappetizing for me and like very difficult for me to want to eat. Fun. And so like that also kind of, I think, it just tainted like anything that I could, I guess, eat, while I was there. Yeah.
Well, the issue being, there's something about McDonald's where like unless you order it specifically the way you want to at the time of ordering, well, I mean, it's made for like fast production, like what was his name? Brock, like he established it to be like an assembly line, just get things out as fast as possible. And nowadays, like everything's done with like mass grills or like steamers or something like that. So it's never gonna be like not tainted by like XYZ, but I think back then it was even worse because a lot of it just got like, I don't want to say cross contaminated, but just so much of it that you didn't have the idea of like allergies or anything coming in contact with something else. So it was basically just a crapshoot. And I can remember like if you didn't like ask for anything like that, like even if you I think you had allergy things, like I think the biggest option you had in the 90s was just like, okay, you're allergic to XYZ or you don't like XYZ, well, tough shit, go make it yourself.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Oh yeah. And on that note, that reminds me of what McDonald's kind of did to the Muslim community. I guess some of the oil that they were using was like what is that, bacon grease or something like that for their fries. And when that came out, yeah, so it's non-kosher, and like and obviously made with pigs. That like they were just kind of like, yeah, well, that's on you guys for not checking, and also for going to McDonald's. Like, I feel like a lot of the '90s is like, well, yeah, we didn't tell you, and you should have known. Like, what the actual fuck?
I mean, it's up there with like the coffee lawsuit.
The coffee lawsuit. Oh my god! Do you know a lot of details about that, or do you know just kind of the mass production?
I know a decent amount about it. Okay. I think like a lot of people, I've watched the what was it, the Adam Ruins thing, but I've also been. I'm usually aware of like the deeper story and that kind of thing, just because like there's the actual story, and then there's the what the fuck story.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, I think of that as more of the what the fuck story, because like I heard a couple of different stories about this where it was like, oh, like she used the R slur to like, say that this person was terrible, that like they didn't whatchamacallit, like that that they weren't that they should have hired, people with disabilities or whatever. And then I heard the one where it was like, and she's just malicious, and like she should have known that her hot coffee was hot. This is stupid. And it's like, well, I mean, no, she burned herself. Yeah, she burned herself, and well, she got burned by the coffee, and it was too hot, and like for human consumption, basically.
Because there's a safety regulation now that wasn't in place back then.
Yeah. And that she was like, hey, could you pay my medical bills? And they were like, absolutely fucking not. And she was like, yeah, this is going to be an issue then. And that's the story. And then they like just went on a smear campaign against her for no good reason in the media. That's why I was asking what you knew.
Because I was like, a little bit and let you like find out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like apparently it was like there was like a rating for coffee after that because of like what happened. But the problem is, it was there's a public display that McDonald's did that really just set people like on the wrong path of all this thing, and I think it was in no small part to their smear campaign that they like, oh, here's this frivolous lawsuit and all this stuff. Or I think it was more like they omitted like very key facts, because like you hear someone say, oh, I burned myself on coffee, give me like X amount of money. Like, unless you have better context, your immediate thought is, oh, this person just wants a payday.
Right.
But then you find out she burned 16% of her body, needed like skin grafts, and they were malicious. They were at fault because their coffee was too high or too hot for anyone to be able to handle. Plus, their cups weren't capable of handling it either. So and then it becomes so that's on you.
Yeah, McDonald's. That's on McDonald's. Yeah, completely on McDonald's. Yeah.
And then there's also just like, I remember back when I was a kid, like the idea of the supersize and all that other fun stuff, because like I can remember McDonald's back in the day having like the supersized tankard of soda, which almost like got up there with like 7-Eleven like double gulps and stuff like that, where it was just
oh my god, yeah,
like size excess was just like insane.
Oh my gosh,
and if you didn't do it yourself, like all you got was ice.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, what I was gonna say was like I'm like, unfortunately, I guess I'm in diet culture, because I'm like, well, I paid a lot of attention to calories, and I'm just like, oh my god, the calories and all of that. And like, it was just consume, you know?
Oh yeah, back in the day, no. Like you did, like if you got like X amount of fries
Yeah.
in like your superstar thing, oh, like you were content.
Mhm.
Like, but like nowadays, like I think this it would be like the size of like two larges that equate to like a supersize, and these things were just insane.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of like how much like salt in it, and then I mean.
Wait, audio just went down. Are you still there? Oh no. What just happened? Oh no. I'm here all by myself. uh, well, what I was gonna say was I think that that kind of came out of the what is that called? Like the recession that had happened in the 80s. Like everyone became so needy, and it or 70s, I guess. Everyone became so needy that it was like it just um, sorry, something's going on. Yeah, everyone became so needy that like it just they wanted to like what is that called? That they um, yeah that they wanted to like have more and more and more, and so that's what they did. Let me see what's happening with the audio right now. Oh, okay, its connection is lost. Okay, so we'll get back to having Heinen as our guest, obviously, or as our co-host. Um, let's see. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to do two things at once. Sorry about that. So we will see. Okay. The other thing I want to do is make sure that this is public, so that oh yes, and there's a um, what is that called? There is a YouTube channel where I am putting all of these, and then I'm going to be converting them to audio so that we can start putting them on the different platforms. Right now, we only have 3 subscribers, so I will post that link, and I will make sure that you all have it, and that will definitely enjoy um, will enjoy that those episodes, the previous episodes, they're on there. All right, so we are um, figuring out some of the technical difficulties right now. So, like, all right, well, I think we'll get there. Um, Anyway, so yes, I am monitoring the comments now. If there's anything that you would like to add about, the what is that called? Um, about McDonald's and fast food in the 90s that you remember. Yep. Hold on, let me change some things. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So other things that I remember about the 90s with this stuff was definitely the aesthetic. There has been obviously some changes to McDonald's. Oh, that's me. Hold on. All right.
I'm just gonna run off my phone, I guess.
Oh no.
Yeah, all of a sudden I was talking about supersized shit, and like, wow, like the Wi-Fi on my laptop died.
Oh no.
Yay!
Yay.
I can,
Yep.
I can run with my phone. So
Yes. Luckily, so we got that. Yep.
just let me know when we're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're good. I've just been kind of filling the time and making sure that people can look can find everything. So that's fun. Yay. Um, yeah. So yes, you were talking about Supersize Me. I was just kind of filling time with talking about the aesthetic. So what did you want to continue to talk about with Supersize?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind go back to the aesthetic because, like, the idea of the supersize me, I think, like, everyone knows just like how terrible it is.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone's like health conscious enough.
Yes, that they're like, oh god, no. Yes, the aesthetic. I remember that there's been a lot of changes to the aesthetic, and that like Taco Bell has gone through some very significant like changes with aesthetic. But yes, yeah. So
Like back in the day, like Taco Bell was just like, here's your stereotypical Tex-Mex like idea. So
yeah, and I mean, I've made fun of people for liking Taco Bell. At this point, it is one of the healthier ones. I remember when some of my friends went vegan for a while, and Taco Bell was the place where they could actually like eat. They could replace. I don't know if the I don't know how well the beans were as far as like vegan beans, but I guess they were enough. I know. I'm like, wouldn't they be made with fat though? Like every bean is made with fat unless like you make it yourself. But like yeah, they chose to use Taco Bell one night when we were hanging out, and they replaced the beef with beans, and so that was so I was like, okay, that seems like a little bit more healthy than some of the other options, and like corn based instead of flour based, which I'm good with because I'm allergic to a lot of things, including flour. I break out in rashes. It's fun. But yes, back then I believe it was more of the Tex-Mex where it was that like New Mexico like turquoise, and I think the very stereotypical like swooshes of color of like of Taco Bell. Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I think I might be able to.
Okay, I think you'll be able to find a picture of it. Like I'm guaranteeing that there will be a picture. Yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, hold on, let me see if I can look up like old Taco Bell shit.
I'm saying that yeah.
Because like I remember like seeing pictures of like '90s Taco Bells in like California, and
yes.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like, I have a problem when it comes to Taco Bell because I love it too much.
Okay.
I know it's not healthy. I know it's mostly oh my god.
Gonna be okay.
No, I just like I didn't realize just how much it's changed.
Yes.
Because like I'm looking at hold on. The police are coming after me because I love Taco Bell.
Yep. They're like, yep. Oh yeah. Oh, I see it. Oh yep. It's exactly what I was describing. Like
like the white background, the just like it. I'm not gonna say it doesn't look inauthentic because it kind of does, but then I remember because I found pictures of the inside of it, and oh my lord, like I remember just like the pictures of an inside of a Taco Bell is stereotypical '90s, just everything.
Yes. Yep.
It's
very stereotypical '90s.
Symmetric shapes, like day glow colors. Like I was saying, like the hard plastic booths and everything.
Yes. Oh yeah. These are the pictures that I was looking at too. So because I'm gonna convert this to audio, it's the turquoise tables. It's turquoise stools in some places. It's purple, some accent somewhere, and then
And teal.
very and teal and very 90s, like a circle and like a square somewhere that just kind of is supposed to look funky and fresh and new and haha.
It's basically the worst version of Tetris possible
right?
in decor form.
I don't know why this was so popular back then, but like this was the aesthetic. And I think that this could come back now and people would be like, have you been to the Taco Bell Cantina on Route 1 at like next to Dunkin' Donuts? And like, haven't you just enjoyed the aesthetic? You know?
Give me 1 second. I have to look up McDonald's like interiors.
Oh yeah. Well, they also had the playscapes, right, at that point.
Oh god. Yes. You mean the bathroom?
Not in the bathrooms. Oh yeah. Well, I guess the ball pits were the bathrooms, right?
Yeah, because there was more urea in there than most drainage center, like sewage waste centers. They had more urea there. Because honestly, I was in one of those like the ghetto play places, and I didn't know any better. I was like 10, and yeah.
Yep.
You don't really realize that okay, as a kid, your immediate thought is it's sweat, because why would you think otherwise?
Right.
And then
God. Yeah.
I discovered urine in a fucking play place, and I never went in one again.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it. It's disgusting.
It is.
Like, don't get me wrong, the play places as a kid were like the shit. Like, it was so awesome. Like, yay, I get to play in this thing. I don't have to go to one of those what do you call it? Like one of those adventure centers or adventure zones to go play in it. I get this. Like, I can have my food and then play in this for like an hour or so.
An hour, yeah, and it felt like so long. Yeah.
Not realizing the terrifying truth lying within. Yeah. Like I've heard horror stories that like people have found like needles and shit in some of those. Ooh. Like they're basically just it's a no man's land of like here's this public space that kids have fun. Let's ruin it as much as humanly possible and ruin the trust of your customers.
Yeah. What was your partner saying?
Oh no! I unfortunately I accidentally hit something and the video started.
I thought that
No. Okay. She's partner's downstairs, so. Oh, okay. But yeah, like just if you didn't have any trust in establishment now as an adult, I have the strangest feeling it started when you got into a McDonald's play place and you realized that they were not cleaning that shit regularly.
Nope, they were not. That just seems like a hotbed, just breeding ground for all of the colds.
In all fairness, though, in absolute all fairness, it is kind of impossible to realistically clean something like that without like I don't know, some kind of ball washer or like some kind of power washer or like something. Like, because you have to clean like every individual ball or like either that or you'd have to like reset it. Yeah. But like that said, though, like you could have at least tried.
You could have at least tried. Yeah, it's very true. You could have at least
or at least like warned us or something, because like you had to have been getting like comments or like you had to have been getting like people stating like, wait, my child found like urine or like like they found this weird substance or
yeah.
I'm pretty sure people
found or my kid got sick, which I think is one of those things where like it's like that sounds totally a part of it, like that parents would call places and be like, yeah, well, my kid is like sick and like throwing up like crazy, and I'm just like really surprised that like I don't know, at some point I knew that like germs were a thing and you had to like wash your hands obviously, and like I remember reading this book and they were talking about germs and everything. It wasn't like it was part of the story, but it wasn't part of the story because it was a time traveling story, of course.
Yeah.
And so there, yeah, so in that there were a lot of things obviously that I learned that I was like, oh yeah, so when you take public transportation, you should probably take hand sanitizer. And one of my friends did not believe me. He was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, I felt so nice when he was like, you're right, because we went on a bus while I was visiting in San Francisco, and he was like, no, I get it now. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot.
Well, the thing is, you want to trust like that people are like they're good. Like not good. Like it's not to say because look, accidents happen.
Right.
Like kids have accidents happen, and I'm not gonna fault them for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's but the problem is like you cannot help but be like, wait, someone intentionally did this. Like there had to have been people who intentionally pulled, or at least like someone has to have cleaned it, but I guess not, or like. You could have done something. Like something could have been done.
Something could have been done so that like pee and poop, like clearly from little kids, was not all over everything. And that's probably why they did eventually get rid of all of them. Which like I know that there's a lot of millennials that were like, no, like. But were you playing in it? Were you planning on playing in it? Was it just something about nostalgia that you want to keep? Like let's let McDonald's turn into like they have those pictures now where they're like, well, McDonald's kind of like turned all their aesthetic gray, and it's like, yeah, I mean that was popular at the time. They were trying to kind of rebrand themselves as they have tried to do, like all the time.
That's just like changing with the times, and
exactly, it's changing with the times. It's fine. And then people making fun of it like, oh, it looks like they went through their like corporate job, or they're a little less fun now.
Crisis.
Yeah, I'm like, well, maybe that wasn't the aesthetic that that wasn't what they had to evolve, and that wasn't popular at the time, and that's okay. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, like shit's gonna happen. Like just deal with it. I mean, that said though, like I will say one thing as an adult that I remember back as a kid, because I have to tell this story that, God, if my parents ever like hear this, they're just gonna be like, I remember this and fuck you for this whole thing. So, I have to mention McDonald's kids meal toys.
Okay.
And
yes,
like a number of times. They were never worth it. A number of times they were never worth it. But there's very like good exceptions. Like I'll make comment of the McDonald's pumpkin bucket that you always got. But what my story involves when they did movie tie-ins, specifically when they did the tie-in for Inspector Gadget.
Okay.
And they had the toys that combined together to make one giant Inspector Gadget.
Nice.
So you always got it randomly.
Right.
There was never a chance to like, how do I put it? Like you couldn't like you had to collect them all, and then you got multiples of like all of them. So my
I knew someone who would ask, and then they sometimes would just pay for the toy. They were like, yeah. So yeah.
I didn't know that up until a point. but then I started saving my own money. Because I believe I was like given permission to be like, okay, you can go to McDonald's. Like, we'll if you're gonna pay for it, we'll take you. Yeah. I ended up going to, if I remember correctly, like at least 5 separate McDonald's to collect all the toys for that. More than likely, pissing my parents off to no end because I mean they're driving all across the state of Connecticut for this one kid to get this like plastic toy that more than likely is not even worth it, because I remember these toys being just like they weren't great. Like it was like a squirt gun, and then like maybe like I can't remember. It was like an Action Man kind of thing. But the thing is, like it was still like to a kid everything. Like to get this kind of thing, you'd be like you could lord it over your friends and everything. Mm-hmm. But then I remembered I didn't have friends, so this became a moot point, and I could just sit alone with my like giant Inspector Gadget toy and realized, wait, I could just buy the figure from the cartoon and just be as happy.
Just as good. Yep.
Yeah, like this was not even worth it because like at least back in the day, like those Inspector Gadget toys were much better. But I digress. Like I had no idea about this kind of thing, and those McDonald's toys were still just like everything. Because there was that, they had like the Pokemon card tie-in. I think this is probably in the 80s, but like they had the toys that were basically Transformers, but they were McDonald's like
They
food
were
items.
McDonald's. Yes, that's one of the ones that I remember the most. I was like, I wonder if that was one of the first because that seemed like kind of like, hey, this is branding. You know,
it probably was. I would not be surprised. But like, I distinctly remember like all of like
I remember
the large number of toys being.
Barbie ones, and
Yep.
then there was like whatever was opposite of Barbie, and I can't remember
Hot
what
Wheels.
the boys section would have been.
It was Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels, yeah. Yep.
It was cars. I remember this because like you had like, or it depended sometimes. Like there was often like specific movies that came out that they did stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember like it was Barbie and Hot Wheels. Because like anytime I got a Happy Meal, it was always the cars, and some of them were as a kid were kind of sick, but then some of them were just like, eh.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Barbies were just like they had Barbie hair.
Oh yeah, it was either that or a comb or I think it was like a mirror or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes it was a doll. As far as I was aware.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But those toys, like, they were a cheap tie-in, but like I think it helped like push the toys.
Oh yeah, definitely, and helped kids to be like, hey mom, I want to go here. Or, hey dad, I want to go here. Or, hey, caregiver, like, can we go to McDonald's? I want to get.
Yeah, like I said, like if you were a kid and like they had the collect all the toys thing, I think I like to think at some point you're one of those kids that just like, mom, take me to this McDonald's or that McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And like get all the toys and everything just so I could have all the toys, but like I don't know. Like those toys, like I'm fairly certain, like the kids are the ones responsible for fucking over the parents, but like it's still just that was one of the big things. Is just those Happy Meals were always like. I mean, the food was never worth it because it was always just so minuscule. But like, it was always about the toys.
It really was.
Like, it was always,
yeah.
Because
that is such a good motivator for kids. Like, sorry, just thinking about it, just like, damn.
Oh yeah.
We did not give a shit about the food. Oh, you know what? You guys want to eat? Fine, I'm gonna go play. Like it's almost like a disconnect, of like
like the idea of the Happy Meal is obviously like here's a smaller portion of the shit we already make, so that way it's healthier. Like no, not at all. No. Like, and then they started giving the apple slices, and I'll give them credit for like the apple slices at least being a half-hearted step in the right direction, because I can't say it was a full step in the right direction, but like it's something. Like I'll give them credit that it was something.
I wish that they did continue with the salads. I understand that it wasn't a popular thing, but like when you are like hungry, like you do want and like everyone else is like, we're going to McDonald's, that like you could just be like, hey, throw in a salad for me, please.
I just realized. I just remember the salad shaker.
Yes, that they canceled that obviously, because it was not a very popular. It wasn't a popular thing. But
I liked it.
Right, and I liked it, and I'm sure that there's plenty of other people who liked it. I mean, kind of like, well, that's what I like. If I could afford it, I probably would have done it more often.
I mean, then again, like if you remember, like they had like that. They had like the McDonald's pizza. They had what was it? Like there's a number of things that they came up with.
The one thing that I wish that McDonald's in the United States would do, and it is so selfish of me, but like it's just one of those things where I'm like, come on, McDonald's, just do it. Is that in other countries they have falafel?
Yeah.
I want fast food. I want fast food falafel. Like if they had it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to McDonald's like almost every day to get my falafel.
Because I remember looking this up, like in Japan, like I'm a Japan file for the most part, but I remember like McDonald's in Japan, they had like all this like interesting stuff, like they had oh god, it was like I don't know, I'm looking it up and like this like ramen burger or something. Like they had like the weirdest like food oh yeah, it was like a crab roll they had at some points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like they had oh god, something called like Giga Big Mac, which may not be 90s, but like they had like a breakfast burrito that actually was a burrito as opposed to
Oh
like
yeah.
now where it's just like a couple of things. Like they had katsudon, like they had curry, um, like
Yeah,
like um
man.
like
Well,
like they had like the hamburger steak, like that kind of thing.
yeah, that sounds like amazing. Like I wish that there was like, hey, we're gonna have like an international month, right? Or international week. Like
Yeah.
we're going to basically test out, all of these things that we have in other countries that, we want to see if like, the
Yeah,
American public would
sure.
want that. Like I think that I would hope that it would be an interesting thing, for them to at least try out.
Well,
You know.
actually, they did at one point because I remember this. Like I think it was a few years ago. They did
Okay.
actually uh, do a small run of international stuff. Now I don't know if it was too big of a cash grab, but I really do wish that they continue with that because it was very interesting to see like how France and Japan like
Yeah.
distributed everything. But yeah, like it was definitely one of the better like menu ideas or like promotional ideas that they had, and I think like looking back at it, look at things like from then to now, like I think we can all agree like McDonald's has like I don't want to say backslid, but like it's definitely not as strong as it used to be. At least for me, as like well, then again, I'm trying to cut back on fast food altogether. So
Right. Yeah.
like,
And I'm like I barely eat out anyways because of all of my allergies. So I'm like it's just healthier for me to not.
oh
Um.
no, it's just healthy. Period.
Yeah.
There's no reason like to eat out, especially with like prices as bad as they are.
Yeah. They're pretty bad. Yeah.
But yeah, like in terms of like nostalgia, if you're like crazy busy every once in a while, like it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, like if they were to do something like that and like try to like be a little more like diverse with their menu, I think it would be in the right.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like the Szechuan sauce and like
Oh yeah.
revival and all that, like that was a good maneuver. Like, 'cause obviously it brought stuff to the forefront, but
Yeah. But then it got worse. It's probably why they're like, we're not gonna do that again. Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea is like they wanted to stick with what McDonald's does best. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree on the idea of maintaining some kind of consistency,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the issue being like, okay, you're going to be consistent, but that means you have to keep the quality,
Right.
and your quality has been lacking
Yeah.
for the most part. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, McDonald's fries, and there's always going to be that contest of what fry is the best, in terms of like your BuzzFeed poll survey or whatever the hell
Right.
used to do it. But my thought is like back then there was at least enough of a variety for the food where at least there was the illusion that like yeah you get something different.
Yeah.
You don't got the illusion now. Like you're basically buying the same burger. Like the only difference is I think if you buy like the quarter pounder, that's different. But
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
even
funny.
then like
I actually was watching a not a TikTok, like YouTube Shorts, this morning. This guy, I don't know how much you follow any of this stuff, but there's this guy who does what is that called? Asset management, where it like loss prevention, um, where like he's just like stay petty. So like he went to the McDonald's, I guess, this morning, and he was like, I could have just recorded all of my TikToks for the week, like right now.
yeah.
Because apparently he stayed behind a woman for like 5 minutes while she ordered, and she, like, I guess turned around and looked at him and gave him a shrug. And he was like, how do you not know what to order from McDonald's? It's the same menu for the last like 700 years. Like, what's wrong? And
It's right in front of you.
well, I'm like, I would do that because I'm like, I don't know actually. There are some new things on the menu that I'm like, I don't know. I don't what do I want? What can I eat and what do I want? Um, which is tough. It's yeah, it's not great.
See, my thought is like you go to McDonald's like fast food or something like that. You go for the same thing every time. Like there's maybe like one or two times like there's something new, but
Yeah.
he's being like you know what you want. But
Yeah.
nowadays, like my initial thought is I could literally get what I want at like a ShopRite or a
Yes.
supermarket
Yep.
and just be as sad. And I'm still trying to break the habit of like, oh, I can have it now and go to McDonald's or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But that said, there is like the idea of convenience, but the thing is with convenience comes like a not repetition. What's the proper word for it? Like the consistency where you have this one consistent like line that you as a person would have. Like you either get like your McDonald's like your chicken nuggets or you get like your fries or something like that, and you just that every single time. You maybe have to look at the menu. Like if they tell you something like something's out of whatnot, you just like okay,
Yep.
and then you have like that like then you have the moment of like what the fuck do we order?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things that I mean, like, I know maybe 2 months ago, I was like, hey, husband, let's go to McDonald's for breakfast, because I feel like, I'm feeling decent, so maybe I won't get a rash. So I got a McGriddle. And that's, I think, I mean, it's very rare. And then we did have Taco Bell a couple of days or a couple of weekends ago. Yeah, that's all of the fast food I've had in the last couple of months. But like otherwise, yeah, I go to Stop and Shop. I get a salad, and I barely use all of the mix that they give, and then that's it. Like that's my whole thing. Um, and when I'm at my office sometimes, because it's New York, um, I can choose between the fresh food section at CVS or at is that a Dwayne Reed? I think that's a Walgreens or the Walgreens. They're both obviously within walking distance, so I either go one way or the other and get my salads or prepared sandwiches and fresh fruit from them.
Yeah.
And like I'd rather do that 100 times over than I think there is a Wendy's nearby. Yeah, there is one. I haven't been there. There's also a place that has dollar slices of pizza, and I'm like, can't.
See, yeah, at that point, like, there's more than enough options nowadays to be like, wait, I can get like a salad, or I can get something that's like, okay, it hits that one mark. Like, if you want something salty, if you want something savory, if you want something fruit wise, like, you have options now where it's like, you do not need to settle.
The closest restaurant that I don't mind going to is a ramen restaurant, and I think their ramen is like $10 or something. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go do that. Everything else like usually is like $13 like for a meal, and I'm like, I don't want any of this.
Yeah, I think nowadays if you have like the option for budget and like you can get something for it, I think that's a godsend. Like, you know what? Don't bother with like there's more, like I said, like outside of the holy trinity of McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, like there is now more than enough options for you to have like a satisfying meal for like next to nothing. But like you don't have to like deal with like the McDonald's BS or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And so we went out to Taco Bell in the middle of nowhere. So this was oh gosh, I don't want to say it was Middletown. I can't remember where it was, but it was like middle Connecticut. And so like they made our food 3 times and accidentally gave it away like 2 times. Obviously, like they gave us finally the third time that we got it, but it was just so kind of messed up. I was like, I am losing life here because all I want to do is eat and go home, and like I didn't get
I
into
have like
meal.
little to no patience, and you're testing that.
Right, and I'm like, I'm about to faint, dude. Like, give me my fucking food. How long does it take? Why is it 30 minutes later? Like,
Like,
what just happened?
The other thing now is like, and I don't want to like say like this is always actually. You could literally go to a gas station and get better food than you ever could now, like back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like you absolutely can do that nowadays, and just don't get me wrong, it's not great, but like on the sliding scale of like what we came from, it's like it's so much better.
It's so much better. Yeah, that's true. I stopped at a. Oh my god! I went to Waterfire last weekend. So that was. Have you been like to Waterfire?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so it's in Providence. It's they have these big fire pits in the middle of the canal through that goes through Providence, and they have an event. They do all this flourish and music to light the these fire pits. It's a really cool event. So my friends and I decided to go up there to see it, and super fun. And so we stop in Rhode Island, and we get off the highway, and this highway stop says that there is gas and that there's like restaurants. Well, what they didn't say was that it was actually at the next like exit. So you were just driving down the back roads to get to the next exit where they actually had the restaurants and the gas. So
Wow.
I know it was so fucked up. I went into a country store and was like, I'm guessing you don't have a customer bathroom, and they're like, no, go down the street, which was right next to yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And I was like, it's a country restaurant. Okay, I'm gonna. It sounds like this is probably the only place. Maybe it was a food desert. I don't know. It just there were a lot of things that didn't seem right there, and that was one of them. So
Yeah.
we get to Cumberland Farms, and I'm able to get like really good tea. You know, and I know that they have like options obviously for other things that I wasn't hungry, so I didn't get, but pretty sure I could have gotten some good stuff.
Like options there, and that's the point.
Yes, yeah, especially having green tea. I'm allergic to black tea, so like I kind of knew that they had green tea, and I knew that would like work out.
Well, that's the thing. Like looking back at the '90s when it came to like tea, like the celestials, you didn't have anything.
No.
Like if you had like a cup like coffee, like if there was a coffee thing, your best option I think was just like drink the hot water that comes out of the coffee machine.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, like it's a lot easier. Like
and
I don't think
there's
easier.
an understanding of celiacs. Like I think that was just kind of a like what's wrong with this kid. Type of thing, instead of like oh, okay, no, he has, they have options now. Like, they did actually in My Girl, right? Yeah. Macaulay Culkin's character had food allergies, and that's why some of the kids didn't want to hang out with him. And I'm like, I think they played it up right, because like every kid with food allergies always looked like they were just like skinny and like pale. So they kind of got that on there. Yeah.
Or my cat just decided to jump up next to me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like there's a better context for everything nowadays. Like there's more in the sense that like, oh, so it's not just because you're like a picky eater or something. It's actually like a thing where you cannot physically do X, Y, Z. Like, yeah. I feel like context is more prevalent now, which is I think like the biggest thing. Right. Is just.
Which is like why I think like my mom in like her era, they like she was trying to embarrass me by telling my friends that I screamed when like I didn't have a plain burger. And I'm like, Mom, I was 7. You just said in this whole entire thing that I was 7. Of course I screamed. Of course I did. I was 7. Like what was the point of this conversation? like other than to
It was
embarrass me, like and be like, oh, she was such a picky eater. Yeah, I was, and
I really hate those.
yeah,
I'm sorry. It's like I hate that those stories of like, here, let's embarrass our child.
right,
Why are you doing to embarrass you?
right.
And how that makes me feel.
Well, I give it back. So I'm like, Mom, when's the last time that you had, let's see, Vietnamese food, some good ramen, when's the last time that you went out for, Korean barbecue? And she was like, oh, well, my husband, he has, and I was like, yeah, you have to get food for him. I understand that. But like, what about for yourself? You ever go out anywhere to like have different types of food? And she, like, eventually she was like, well, no. And I was like, so maybe this isn't the conversation you want to have. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But, I'm
right
the
there
asshole with the questions. That's
yeah.
who I am. Yeah.
No, see, I don't like see. I would love to do that kind of stuff. The problem is, like, I don't pull punches.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, if I do something like that, it is going to be to destroy somebody. Because I don't know if it's because I'm perceptive enough, but generally, like, if I like start like doing those kind of embarrassing things, I cannot stop. Like, like I have friends who like I recently like I was like living at a friend, and I'm pretty sure I went too far. But the thing is, like, if I wanted to, like, if it was like a family member pulling this kind of embarrassing shit, oh, I could. God, if the term death by embarrassment wasn't a thing, I absolutely could destroy somebody.
Yeah.
So, like, that's where it's like I can't participate in this kind of things because I will genuinely destroy someone's life.
I think that's I'm like I'm gonna get into some of the bigger stuff, I guess. That's actually something I've been thinking about lately because of like I was kind of a dick kid when I was younger, and like I kind of wonder if like that was kind of reactive abuse where it's like I don't know how to act regular, so like I only know how to like go too hard. And like be mean, like just be like super mean. There was a Community, and the one character who like didn't understand where a joke ended and why it was funny, like he would just get mean and go too far. And I'm like, yeah, that was me,
Yeah, that is currently me. So I get that. And my experience in that is I do think it's like lack of context and the like the lack of ability to like know like the social norm of like just how far is too far. But like that's that I don't know, just I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's how I developed a particular sense of humor, but like why I can't kind of venture out into other senses, like other types of humor, because like I would probably make people cry and like be like, well, everything you say is fucking stupid, and it's like I don't mean it, but then like I couldn't pull back, and I'm like, oh god, yeah, that could be that would ruin friendships, So
I absolutely like I'm right there with you in that entire fucking like there should be like what's it, social like cues or some kind of like general sense of things where you can feel out like how far is too far, and I think like there's a line where there's a way people can like get the gist of it, but like I as a person have no way to like I know sarcasm to a certain degree, but it's like I know sarcasm to like either be like, oh, I can rib you a little, or I will absolutely sarcastic you as hard as I possibly can without any kind of like way to stop myself or filter. Like I think that's the proper way to say it, is just I have no real filter.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, where's the line? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is either. And like I just wish that there was some way to kind of I know that there's a book that's like the adult child figures out what's normal or something like that. And I'm like, I just wish that there was more of that, where it was like, okay, so this is how a joke goes, and then don't go too much farther after that, unless you're with the people who are still laughing, and you can definitely push that, boundary. Yeah.
Well, I have it even worse where I have this thing where it's really hard for me to accept like help or criticism from others without it seeming like an attack. Like that's where it really gets me, where I know someone's trying to be genuinely helpful, but unfortunately, there's this overwhelming part of me that just feels like it's condescension. It just like it feels like a direct attack towards my person, or it comes across like as like a failure of me as a person for not recognizing it, even though it's something I have literally zero ability beforehand to know or anything like that. But I can't help myself. It's just like it's like a dig, even though it's not a dig.
Oh no, I've been there. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember being that way, where it was like, I know you're trying to be helpful, but fuck you, I hate every fucking thing about this. And yeah, I'm so, like, I don't know how. Like, it's been a long time, like evolving past that. That I'm like, I don't remember how I evolved past that, but I had to be like, this person's helping me. It's okay. You're fine. You're safe. Like, but yeah, God, yeah. Oh, I always felt like I was like, I know, like as soon as I got out of like grad school, I know what I'm doing. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I think I fucked up everything.
Yeah. No, I'm right there. Like I'm still very, very much in trying to figure out where I can like get past that, but like oh god, is it so difficult to like
so
not just immediately say like fuck you and then just like get my hand and just not like backslap somebody just for like daring to fucking think I don't know what I'm doing, even though like in my head, like deep past like that knee jerk reaction is just like I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
Like why are you reacting like this?
Right. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it is. But also, I mean, like at least you're like, I know this is not the way to react to this.
I mean, there's at least that level of self-awareness, but the problem is it's trying to like learn out that kind of thing. That's why I need like cognitive behavior therapy, at least to like be able to just like bust through that. But the problem is, like I've said multiple times before, if your health insurance is nil or basically gone, guess what? You're learning how to do this in the forefront.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is all because of McDonald's Play Place.
Yes. All because of McDonald's. It just warped our mind. I think that was kind of one of those things that they thought would happen, was that like we'd all eat this like fast food junk and then like never really get to a point where like we could function fully. I'm like, but I mean, parents also didn't want to take any responsibility and be like, oh, what? Do you mean that I was taking my kid here too often and maybe causing them problems? That doesn't seem right. Let's blame McDonald's. I mean, there are some good CBT workbooks, and like we can, we can obviously talk about it later. For me, I'm like, I just wish that there was like videos that I could watch so I don't feel stupid asking questions. You have to like have your friends that you can be like, okay, how do you do this? But like,
you know what? I have a perfect analogy for this. I don't know if you remember this, but like in McDonald's, there used to be the like the video game stations that had like like they probably had like crappy like Sega Genesis games like that. You know what they should have is just videos on how to socialize.
Yes.
Or how to do XYZ.
Yes. Yep. And like I wouldn't mind watching a video. I know that there's the Dad How Do I like video or like YouTube channel where it's like, hey guys, and I'm like, I kind of like this, but I also kind of hate it because this is not my experience. And just like, hey, here's what you do in this situation. Like, oh, okay, yes, okay, I can figure that out. Yay, thank you. Like now that I have the information.
Yeah, like some kind of like way to like get like better context, or at the bare minimum, like know like this is what is socially acceptable, but like in maybe like in a way like that can easily be digested for someone like a kid or anything like that. But I don't know, like they weren't worried about that. They were worried how much French fries can we just throw into you.
That's true. And I do remember watching news like segments where like someone would try to sue McDonald's and be like, "You made me fat," and they'd be like, "Well, we didn't intend on
That
you for
okay.
like eating here every day,"
Yeah. No one forced that. There's like the thing is, see, that's the difference between the coffee lawsuit and this. Like,
Some
there's
of
a
the
big
other
difference.
lawsuits, yeah.
That was because that wasn't anyone. That the company's fault for the coffee thing. No one forced you to spend money at a McDonald's every day. No, I get there's extenuating circumstances, but you still had enough cognizance to be able to say,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
See, that's why I think like there's like that dissidence and like why it's so easy to not believe people, because like there's the thing is it's choice.
It is
Like
choice.
yeah. Like you can say like McDonald's was socially like inept when it came to like we're not going to give you like better options or whatnot. Like you can say like, oh, we had the salads, but we just took them right because they weren't popular or anything like that. That seems irresponsible. Like the size of a super like a supersize, that was irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like not producing the nutritional facts, like that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
But they're not saying you have to eat here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. True.
I'm sorry, but
No,
like I'm always big on this because, like, again, I was a former fat kid. I mean, I'm still kind of fat right now, but I'm getting better at it. But the thing, like, the difference between that is it's taking responsibility into your own hands for your situation, because you can get because speaking of someone who had gastric bypass, speaking of someone who's gone through like everything, like to try and go through weight loss and all this, there's levels of like, okay, you can do XYZ, but the thing is you have to change the behavior.
Right.
Like you have to change how you're eating and like realize that it's not just the magic pill or anything like that. There has to be effort. And like McDonald's, yeah, don't get me wrong, is responsible to a certain degree, but
they were, yes.
You still step into the store. You still buy the giant ass
every
thing.
Day. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a perfect analogy, I think, is I don't know if you've ever heard of the Heart Attack Grill.
Yes.
Yeah, like where a nutritionist made this place literally glorifies overeating, overweight, like people, like lets people who are over 400 pounds eat for free and everything. This is, I don't know, because I've been like in the back of my mind, I have tried to rationalize this, and there's a part of me that keeps wondering if it's a joke.
Right.
If it's some kind of cosmic level joke.
Does sound like a millennial joke.
Or if it's real and this man has just given up on humanity and said, you know what, here's all the donuts in the world, let's see how far you can go. And he's somehow making money from this, which is, I think, from the spectacle. But I think the fact that he's still thriving with this entire enterprise is either horrifying or just completely sad that people are giving up to this degree.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could also technically be a political statement. Like being like, well, this is a heart attack grill. You know what you're getting. People over 400 pounds eat free because you know what you're getting. And like kind of making it like we know that this could be controversial, but we're leaning into it type of thing.
Yeah, because again, like I keep saying, they're choosing to eat here.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part that is like horrifying me. I can believe someone does this, like goes to this degree of like, here's this like doctor motif, and here's these burgers that are cooked in lard, and here's an all you can eat like fry buffet. It's the fact that it's still thriving as a business.
Yeah.
That it's like it hits this mark in your soul where it's like this should not. This is a joke.
Yeah, this should be just a painting somewhere as like something that people laugh about and then like go on their way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still around Like I'm looking it up right now. Like yeah, in August 2020, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
This was started like in 15, and I have to believe it was a joke.
Yeah.
Like I have to believe that this doctor like originally intended for this to be like like you said, a political statement and just a joke. But he's making a killing with it. Like
literally.
Like this shouldn't be a thing. Maybe that's when I think I finally like saw the line, because like this is the kind of thing you'd see in like a Tim and Eric sketch or some kind of SNL bit. Like this is a commercial from a 90s SNL bit.
Right.
Real.
But yeah. I know that I watched a documentary one time, and this family just like had a limited budget, and they didn't feel that they could really afford fresh fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, no, I get it. You'd have to buy a lot in order to like, have your family feel full. But I'm also like, aren't like a bag of apples like $5? Like, buy the apples, But then it's like, but then it's like, oh, well, you can't just buy the apples. You have to buy all of this other food to keep them going and have it prepared and have it this way and have it that way. And like, we just don't have time. So we don't even, we stop at McDonald's and then go to, the soccer practice, pick up mom to, do all of these other things. I think it was like 3 kids. And they were kind of like, the parents were like, yeah, we are kind of worried about like how this is affecting our kids. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess like this, it's not good. Yeah.
Like that's something like that actually is terrifying, isn't it? Like where fresh fruit, like fresh everything, is at like a premium, treated almost insulting degree. But fast food is like still like next to. You know what this is? Like it's idiocracy.
It is.
Like literally like that thing of idiocracy where it's like, like Gatorade is everything you need, has electrolytes, but water.
But water.
Like water, like fresh fruit and everything.
But water isn't a brand, So like all of the people lost their jobs because we switched over to water. Yeah.
Because it's free.
Brando. Yeah, all the Brando Corporation. Yeah. And like there is that scene early on where like the woman is trying to get food because she wants to feed her kids, and they take the kids because the fries didn't dispense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
this is the kind of like I know we kind of went like through like a couple levels for this, but like it's no less true. Like this is the kind of thing like that we're coming to nowadays, where like McDonald's and Burger King, all that stuff, is more accessible to fresh fruit, like to fresh produce, to fresh everything. And like the problem is not the accessibility in the restaurant, it's the problem is the accessibility in real life. Like outside of this controlled like environment. Like we should be able to, like, if we decide to like eat a salad or eat something like we want to make, we should be able to do that. But it's becoming more difficult. Like insultingly difficult, actually.
It is insulting, and like that's kind of how the people have brought that up before, because I guess the shakers they were like, let's say they were $6 compared to like a regular, like the salad shakers, that they were like $6 compared, and like more calories at some points, depending on the salad, the dressing. And like let's say the burger was like $4. Like what entirely are you gonna want to do in that case? And I'm like, there are people who are trying, obviously, to undo some of this stuff, and that includes farmers markets on Saturdays usually, or weekends, will usually allow EBT to be used at the vendors. But I mean, that's you buy it on Saturday by like I mean, if you're desperate, then by Sunday night it's all gone. If you can control how much you eat, it's probably not good past like Wednesday. So now you have Thursday, Friday, where you're not eating anything fresh again.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the problem. Is just like it's sustainable. Like there should be like a sustainable way to get through all this,
Right.
or at least be able to like you said, EBT like probably should be available for like I don't want to say corporate, but yeah, like non-corporate sources, so you can be able to get this kind of thing. But
Right.
like that's insane. That like we have EBT, which is supposed to be helping lower income families and everything,
Right.
but it's more accessible to get like snacks and all this other stuff rather than like prepare full meals for the week and everything.
Yeah.
And just that's nuts.
It is very nuts.
Like it's not a healthy lifestyle.
It really isn't, and like it's tough too, because like so with being allergic to flour, I look very differently at the American eating habits, and I'm just like, how did all of us get okay with like I really liked the what is that called, the Burger King chicken sandwich, right? So that's breaded sandwich with bread on top of it, served with not more bread, but like served with fries. All of that is very carb heavy. Like you get a little bit. You get a leaf of lettuce in there. On top of, yeah. If you order that, if you want it. But they have so much other stuff on there that's obviously not good, for anyone. And like that's kind of a common thing where it's like, here's this breaded fried thing, like let's put it on bread. Like, what do you mean you're gonna put more bread on this bread and then serve it with more carbs? Like what? Um, and that makes people tired. It makes people have foggy brain. It makes people like have all of this stuff, as to like not really function. And like when I when I finally like reached the point after kind of the detox period from having flour all the time, it was very enlightening as far as like, wow, like people do get used to this and it feels okay to them. And this is like, my doctor called it like the anti-inflammatory. So like all of this stuff is like inflaming the body and making people feel bad, just in general, and contributing to depression and anxiety too. And like it is such a weird thing to be like, whoa, so if like people did change their diets and wanted and like were willing and able to like make the change, like they would think differently, they would act differently, they would be different, and it's like, whoa, this is weird.
Well, yeah, because like it makes it makes sense. Like you're putting better fuel in your body, so your mind's gonna be a little better. Like I went an entire week just eating like tuna fish and eating more clean. I could easily say I felt less foggy, and then like the last 2 days I indulged in fast food, and like I can immediately tell the difference. Like it's much more like literally all I had was like tuna fish and like protein shakes and everything, and just I can easily say, I can physically feel a difference. And it's been a while too since I like had like this kind of feeling, but just my God, it's so much like it really does matter. I'll just say that. Like growing up as a McDonald's kid and then like trying to shake that fucking habit now. It absolutely should be worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it. It's just it's a lot, and it's a lot of self-discipline, and it is very tough for a lot of people. And like I know that some people have looked at like what I eat and they'll be like, oh, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, I mean, you could, but also like there's gonna be a day like when you're gonna want pasta and you're going to want mac and cheese, or you're gonna want a pasta primavera or whatever, or parmesan, and you're not going to stop yourself. And then like because you did that, then it's perfectly fine if you have a
you know what it is. I'm gonna say it's like booze.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh, yeah.
literally like
It really is. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Can't just have one. Yeah.
And this is speaking as an alcoholic. Like I can say, like it is difficult to like be like consistently sober and everything when it's like it's all over the place.
It's all
like
over
speaking
the
of someone who like literally like has like you know so many like liquor stores and you know like
the
all
advertising.
that like all over the place, and that like you pass by it all the time, or like you see people like do it all the time. It is incredibly difficult because it's so easy to slip. It's just like with fast food, it is exactly the same thing because it is a vice, but it's even worse because it's something essential. You cannot like with booze. Okay, you can just stop. Obviously, I'm simplifying it to an insulting degree, but yeah, you could like you don't need to eat booze.
But you don't need it. Yeah. Yeah.
But you need food to a certain extent. It's just you have to like
your relationship with food, and make sure that you keep that relationship. And when you feel like crap, that you don't cheat on food and go, I just want comfort food, and this is my comfort food, for and like just go off the deep end with it.
Yeah, like it's easy. It's easy for that 1 second, but you regret it like you regret it like half an hour later.
Right. Yeah. And for the week, maybe, I don't even know. Like, you can definitely regret it. I know when I moved offices to New York, I was trying to figure out if I could, eat some of the food that was close by, and I could. But again, everything's $13, and I don't want to spend $13 every day. And like I was eating a lot more flour during that time because I was just like, oh no, it's fine this time. No, it's fine this